What is going on, guys? Sonic and the Bean Show here. Today we're looking at the brand new Jakks specific Wave 1 The Simpsons action figures. Finally getting a chance to open these up. Been talking about these for about 5 months now, I want to say. But they are officially out, and I'm interested in how these are going to be in hand, especially how they compare to other Simpsons lines and other Jakks specific figures. So let's go over the packaging. I'll start off over here for Homer Simpson. So here is how the packaging is. You can see it does have an open window, which does reveal the figure and then the accessories that they come with. The packaging though is like pretty much all, I wouldn't say completely white. It's going to be a little hard to see, and my camera's not even going to pick it up as much unless I lower the exposure. But even like in person, it's hard to see. But there's a little bit of like drawing with some characters in the box, which you're not really going to see at all unless you're really close to it. But the box isn't completely white. It's very subtle. There's actually like a little bit of doodling going on that shows a little bit of like characters really. And in the top, you know, there's Marge and Maggie up there, and you can kind of, well, let me move this out the way. But you know, you can see, you know, Marge and Maggie, and there's like a top view right there. There's the bottom, the side. You can see there's Lisa, part of Homer right there, and I already showed this side right here, which just has an image of the figure. And then here is the back right here. So it shows the figure, the accessories, and then, you know, the rest that you can collect right there. Got Snowball sleeping right there. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Here is Bart Simpson. So here's how the packaging is for Bart. And then here is the back of the packaging right there. Here is Otto. So we got Otto right there. And then here is the back. And then last we got Groundskeeper Willie. And then here is the back of the packaging here. Alright, so the first figure we'll be looking at here is Homer. Now I don't have to do any crazy close-up shots on these figures as they are like pretty basic, so there's not really a lot to go over here. But I gotta say, for 13 bucks on these guys, they're actually not too bad. I feel like what you're getting here is definitely worth it, especially like the accessories that they're coming with. And there's not really a whole lot of paint on these figures either. That's another thing, but most of it is going to be molded plastic. But I gotta say, you know, for just a standard, you know, Homer Simpson figure and just the rest of the figures that's in this wave, it's actually not so bad. I really do like these figures a whole lot, and I think the articulation is also pretty good too. I would say that the only, at least for me, and this could just be like a personal preference, but I'm not really feeling the head sculpts on some of them. I think for Homer it's okay, right? I think for Homer, like, yeah, it's, you know, it's not too expressive really, but I'd say this is actually okay. But when I show off like Bart and like Otto a little bit, they're kind of like, there's not like a lot going on with them. They look really boring. So of course, like, you know, the shirt, the pants, and the shoes, you know, they are, you know, just molded plastic, of course. And there's actually peg holes at the bottom of the shoes right here, which maybe there's, I don't know, there's going to be like a future playset, or maybe Homer will have, you know, some accessories down the line where you can peg them onto something. I'm not too sure really, but there is peg holes at the bottom of the feet right there. You can see that the hair is actually painted, and the hair at the top of the head is actually sculpted onto the head right there. And you can kind of move it. It is like, you know, pretty soft. You can see how I can like pinch it really, but you're really just going to get a rotation, so you can't, you know, turn at the head really. For the arms, they go back and forth. There is a hinge which goes high about there. We do get a bicep swivel, which you can actually rotate, you know, the shoulder too. But we have a bicep swivel. We do have a ball hinge for the elbows right there, so you do get this much range. And then wrists do swivel and hinge as well, so you get a hinge right there. There's actually a waist cut here, which it does look pretty seamless. I actually do like the way how they did the waist cut, which is pretty nice. It almost feels like a small little ball peg. You can see how I'm like kind of, you know, moving it around, but you are mainly just going to get a rotation there. And then we do have ball sockets for the, you know, the hips right here, so you can move the legs all the way around really. To kick forward, he can kick forward just about there, which actually isn't really too bad. You're not really going to get much to really kick back, but that's, you know, not terrible or anything. And then out to the side, not so much, just about there. We do have a rotation to the thigh, so you can rotate the leg just a little bit, you know, just a little bit right there. ball hinge for the knees, and I don't think there's really a rotation there either, but there is a rotation for the ankles. Now for the accessories, I just remembered I was supposed to do the accessories next anyway. Whoops. Oh well. But you do get a half-eaten donut right here. I'll actually zoom in right here. It's a little hard to see, but we get like a donut right here. There's like a bite mark. You can see like the sprinkles and the pink frosting. I kind of wish that the sprinkles were like painted, like maybe like painted white or so. But yeah, you do get that, and then you get a box of donuts. It's just a plain box, which I guess it's actually okay. I think sometimes in the episode the box will kind of just be plain, or maybe it'll have like donuts, written across from it. But I'll open it the wrong way. But yeah, it does open. You can open it and does reveal the donuts right here. This one's the sculpt for this pink frosting here is kind of messed up, but you got some donuts in there. You can't really take any of this out. This is actually in there, but you can, I'm gonna drop that, but you can put this donut inside there, as you can see, and you can close that, keep your accessory in there. So there you go. So now Homer has the donut. Okay, now for some comparisons, but here is Homer next to some other Jakks specific figures from different lines. So we have Sonic, Pathfinder, Bendy, and Mario. Here's another comparison next to a standard Marvel Legends and NECA Turtle figure. So we have the Iron Patriot figure that came in at 3-pack with Taskmaster and Dr. Doom. And then we just have a regular cartoon Raphael figure right here. So you can see Homer is definitely too small, since it is just in the 5-inch scale. So it is going to be really small against these figures. Now maybe you want to do some crossovers with your Jakks Simpsons figures, so we got to do some familiar crossovers. So here we have the Toonami, Bender, and Fry figure. So they're definitely going to be way too tall. Again, since Homer is in the 5-inch scale, it's not really going to work that well with any 6-inch figures. So this will be the closest though you'll get to, really, because I think the Super 7 is going to tower over these. Now, if you still have your Playmates Family Guy figures, that can also work. Here's Peter and Brian, as since these should really scale well with the Playmates Simpsons figures, it should also work with the Family Guy. And it's a little bit there. I think you can fudge it in. Here's just a closer look with Homer and Peter right here. I'll just get in a little closer, but I think this can work a little bit here. I don't know exactly how. I mean, in the crossover, they look close. I think Peter's just a little too short, but I think Homer's just slightly taller. I think. But I think this can work, though. I think you can still throw these in and then, add in Brian here. I think like this is actually okay. So, if you want to do like your crossover with your Playmates Family Guy and Jakks Simpsons figures. So there you go. Now here's one last comparison. I have the Jakks Homer next to some other Homers that you can see here. So this is the Super 7 one, that's the Playmates one, and then we got the Mattel one. So the Mattel one is definitely a lot smaller here. Of course the Super 7 is a lot big here, so definitely out of scale. But yeah, the Playmates one, like I mentioned, the Playmates is definitely going to work here for your Jakks Simpsons line. So that's really cool right there. But Super 7, that's not going to work. Even if you were curious about the Mezco Family Guy figures, that's not going to work either. They're definitely going to be too big for these figures, really. Next up here is Bart, and I really like this figure as well. Bart Simpson is my favorite character in the show, so it's always nice to get another new Bart Simpson figure. My only issue though is the head sculpt. I don't really like how there's really just no expression going on with this head sculpt. It's like really, just like plain and boring, really. It's just kind of like a blank stare, and I believe this eye right here is also misprinted. It looks higher than this eye right here. I would say maybe if the pupils were probably just a little bit bigger, it probably wouldn't look as bad. But yeah, it's a really really boring expression here on the head sculpt. But other than that, I mean, I do think the figure's pretty nice too. I mean, it's also pretty casual, right? You got like the red shirt and the blue shorts too. You know, of course his shoes. He also has peg holes at the bottom of his feet right there, and you know that's pretty much that. And I do like the sculpt going on here with, you know, his hair, like the spiky hair. You know, that's cool. For the accessories, he only just come with just one accessory. It's just his skateboard, which, you know, it's okay. Of course it has a peg, and you know you can, you know, peg that on, or you know, peg the figure on to the skateboard, right? It's okay. And it does have wheels at the bottom. That's the bottom of the board right there, you know. So that's pretty well. Well, all right then. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is really. Unfortunately, he doesn't come with his slingshot though. I don't know why they didn't do that. That's like Bart's signature thing right there. Like, you know, it's so weird of Bart to not come with the slingshot. But you know, I have the Playmates one, so I guess I'll just use that one for now. But now for the articulation, so we're just getting a rotation to the head. So you got a swivel, arms move back and forth. There is a hinge to the shoulder, which does go high about there. We do have a bicep swivel, ball hinge to the elbow, so you get that much range. Wrist do swivel and hinge as well. So you have that. There is a rotation to the waist. For the hips, he can kick forward high about there. Kicking back, not so much. We do have a ball hinge to the knees right there, and you can actually rotate that as well. And then there's just a rotation to the ankles. Now for a comparison, here is the Jakks Bart figure next to the Playmates and then the Mattel Bart figure right here. And you can see that the Jakks one is actually a lot more taller, even taller than the Playmates one, then of course the Mattel one as well. In terms of the best one, definitely the Jakks one for sure, but for head sculpt wise, I don't know, but a part of me is still leaning towards the Mattel one. This one's in really bad condition because I've had this since I was a kid really, so it's, you know, it's all really beat up really. But I really did like the head sculpt still for the Mattel figure. Even when the Playmates one came out, I still was leaning towards the Mattel one. But yeah, I mean the Jakks one still is definitely the best one for sure. I definitely would still go for that. Here is one big comparison right here. Now I still have the Jakks, Homer, and Bart figures right here. Of course next to the whole family right here. So these are the Playmates figures, and then of course the, you know, the interactive play sets right here. And you can see like even the Jakks, Homer, and Bart figures, they still work pretty well here. They're not, the scaling's not perfect though by all means. I still think Bart is just a bit too big for Homer and Marge. I think he needs to be a lot smaller. Maybe the Jakks 2.5-inch figures might work. I don't know yet. I gotta open those up and, you know, compare them and everything like that. But like, yeah, like it's not really so bad. I think you can still work with this around, and it's also nice because they're more posable this time. So you'll be able to play with these with, you know, the interactive play sets as well. So it's really nice. I really do like this a lot. Next up here is Automan, and he's also pretty good as well. Like I mentioned, his expression is pretty bland too, but at least for him, you know, he still has like, you know, the bags under his eyes. It's a little hard to see though. It's pretty subtle. You can kind of see it right there, but it's not as noticeable as like the Playmates one. And I think with the Playmates one, his eyes were like a little bit closed too, but this one, his eyes are like more like open. Just a little bit here, but it's not bad. I really think this head sculpt isn't too bad compared to Bart. I think it's actually okay. Another difference here is that the headphones are actually sculpted on to the figure. So this is sculpted on, and you know, this as well. But the wire is a little bit, you know, you can move it a little bit here, right? And then even if I turn the head, or not the torso, but if I turn the head, you know, the wire moves, so it's fine. You know, I don't really mind it personally. With the Playmates, the headphones was always a pain because they would always fall off of the figure, so I'm actually okay with this. But other than that, the figure does look pretty nice. You can see a lot of the hair, you know, coming from the hat right here. The hat is also of course sculpted onto the figure. You can see the bracelet here on you know, Otto's wrist. And then of course he has like, you know, the pink shirt, the purple shorts here, you know, his shoes. He also has peg holes at the bottom of the feet right there. And yeah, overall not so bad. The teeth is also, you know, sculpted and painted as well. It's not really so bad. I really think this Otto figure is actually pretty nice. I really do like it. Now for the accessories, of course he does come with his guitar. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like how there's no paint on the guitar at all. It looks pretty cheap, honestly. It's just weird how there's just no paint at all, so it just looks really basic. Now for the articulation, it's also pretty similar. So again, like I showed off, you can rotate at the head. The hair doesn't really get in the way. As you can see, it goes over the shoulder, so that's pretty nice right there. Arms do move back and forth. We get a hinge to the shoulder, which goes high just about there. We do have a bicep swivel, ball hinge for the elbows. The wrists do swivel and hinge, so you have that. Of course, we also have our rotation to the waist. So you do have a rotation to the waist. And then for the hips, of course, they can kick forward high. I feel like it can probably kick a little bit more. Maybe if I try this one. No, I think that's probably the highest he can kick right there. And then just to kick back, he can't really kick back at all, actually. You can rotate the entire leg, but we do have the ball hinge for the knees right there. Rotation, of course, and then the ankles, just a rotation. Now for a comparison, here it is next to the Playmates one, and this is what I was talking about with the eyes. You see how like this one is like a little bit like, you know, halfway closed, and you can see the bags under the eyes right there compared to this one. That's what I was trying to get at. But a thing that I like though is I like that the hair for this one's a bit more shiny than that one. You see how that one's just like a matte finish. This one has like a little bit of shine to it with the hair. But the problem that I don't understand is like, you look at the difference between the guitars though. Like, you see what I mean? Like there's just no paint at all with the guitar, which is really weird, honestly. So I'm probably gonna end up just using this guitar, and I can always just take the strap off too. So it'll probably be a little too big, but I mean, you know, it definitely does look a whole lot better though. But yeah, you know, that's like your comparison right there. And finally, the last figure we have here is Groundskeeper Willie, and I'm so happy that this figure also turned out pretty good. Groundskeeper Willie is also one of my favorite characters in the show, and I really do like this one as well. I would say that Groundskeeper Willie is probably the best looking one in this entire wave here, especially the head sculpt. I like that there's actually an expression going on here with this head sculpt. You know, his mouth isn't closed. He doesn't, you know, he isn't like looking directly at you. He doesn't have like just a weird like blank stare. There's actually some sort of expression going on here, and I really like that. I'm glad that they did something different here. You can see how like the tongue and the teeth is actually sculpted, and even the hair is actually sculpted too. Like, you know, of course the facial hair, you know, the hair in the back of his head, right, and then even, you know, the eyebrows too. So that is like really nice. I really do like that. Even the hair on his arms is sculpted too. Like, it is of course sculpted and painted, but I really like that. Of course he has like his gray collared shirt, you know, the green overalls, right, the plain black boots, which also have peg holes at the bottom of the shoes right there, right. And yeah, it's really nice to get a new Groundskeeper Willie figure. It really pains me to this day that we still aren't gonna get that Super 7 Ultimates, because I was really looking forward to that. But you know, I guess this one will do. You know, I guess this will just be my new Groundskeeper Willie figure. And right off the bat, I can definitely say I do like this one a lot more than the Playmates one. It's painted differently though, of course, but I'd say quality wise, you know, paint wise, and of course, you know, articulation, this one's definitely a whole lot better. For the accessories, so of course you gotta come with the shovel. So he does come with the shovel. You can throw that onto his hand right there, which is nice, right, similar to the Playmates one. So you get the shovel, and then of course he comes with his bagpipes, which is also really cool. Now for the articulation is also going to be the same way, but you can rotate at the head, rotation to the head, arms move back and forth. We do get a hinge to the shoulder, which does go high about there. We get a rotation to the biceps, so there's a cut right here. A ball hinge for the elbows, get that much range right there. Wrists do swivel and hinge. I actually got a mark right here on the hand right there. There is a rotation to the waist. It does break the sculpt though, but there is a rotation. And then for the hips, he kicks forward, I'd say high about there. I think he kicks a little bit better than Automan, so you get that much right there. There's actually no rotation to the thigh, so no rotation. There is a ball hinge to the knees right there. And yeah, still no rotation, and then your rotation here to the ankle. So now for a comparison, here it is next to the Playmates one, and of course, both of these are different since this one is based off of the more earlier episodes where he had the blue overalls and the white collared shirt. They both got their shovels too, which is nice. But yeah, this is pretty nice to see both of these next to each other. I just realized that the buttons on this one aren't even painted, so that's that's weird right there. But yeah, we got that. This one also came with the rake, because Groundskeeper Willie would also have that. And I'm gonna see if that can work. So let's just see if the rake can go in hand, which I'm pretty sure it can, right? Yeah, so look at that. So the rake definitely works, and it actually looks pretty good. Actually, I really do like that, so that's nice. Now we did get another Groundskeeper Willie that came with bagpipes, which is this one right here. So this one's actually a lot taller, but we got this one that also came with the bagpipes, as you can see. So that's how that is. And then here's the bagpipes that came with the Jakks one for a little comparison. Obviously this one's like different though. Now here's one last comparison right here. Here is everyone from the entire wave all lined up together right here. Alright, so that is going to wrap it up here on the Jakks specific Wave 1 The Simpsons action figures. Yeah, I can definitely see myself having a lot of fun with this toy line. It's so cool seeing how these figures can work really well with the Playmates World of Springfield line. And I'm sure that's exactly what they were trying to do here, since, they put them in that 5-inch scale. Because you saw it, they work well with the playsets and the accessories in that line. The added articulation makes it even better because now you can pose them a lot better too. And for the price point on these guys, the articulation isn't too bad. The sculpts are great. I will say the expressions on some of them are really bland. I also hate that the eye is misprinted on the Bart figure. The accessories are solid. They are lacking paint though, especially Otto's guitar. I also don't understand why Bart is only getting his skateboard, but his variant gets the skateboard and the slingshot when they're both the same figures. At least that's what it looks like to me, really. So yeah, there's definitely some hiccups with the figures that I'm not a fan of, but the most important thing is that these figures are still really fun and affordable, so I recommend getting them, especially if you're a huge Simpsons fan. But let me know, what are your thoughts on this in the comments down below. If you want to pick these up, they are available at Target. But let me know, what are your thoughts on this in the comments down below. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until then, take care, my friends.